Thanksgiving 2009?
12.
Shut it. 2000, no.
Or 11.
2011. Sammy was born. He was a pup. It was during my PhD.
Mm-hmm.
We were living with my mom and dad in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working to find funding
Right.
from different government agencies and not having a lot of success. People really didn't want to know from anything when it deals with concrete.
That's true.
You know,
unless they love concrete.
Unless
people
they
don't love concrete.
yeah.
And there's not many people
And government agencies
love
didn't
concrete.
have a lot of money back then, just like the private
during the
industry.
recession
So asking them to put money for research to
for concrete.
enhancing concrete, nobody cared.
Yeah.
So we filed a proposal with this organization in Maryland
Mm-hmm.
and promptly were turned down. 32-page proposal, wanted nothing to do with us.
Right.
It was a few days or a week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was. They told you and said you need. I would say maybe a couple weeks before Thanksgiving that they said the week of Thanksgiving.
We got an opening.
Some time.
Somebody canceled. Do you want to come in and do this research? You have to have samples ready and sent
Right.
out to us in the next week.
Yeah.
And I said,
Heck yes.
heck yes. This was the same equipment that turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk. So there was some gamma radiation and ultra small angle neutron scattering and ways for us to look at the silicone states and how they change with colloidal silica, and who really gets to play with stuff like this.
Not many people.
Not many people at all.
Couldn't give up that opportunity.
So went out there without Whitney. Sammy J was a
I think he was just a couple months old.
couple. Oh my gosh.
Maybe? I don't know. He might have been a year old. I can't remember if it was 11 or 12, but whatever.
Over Thanksgiving, we didn't have a lot of money, so Whitney put me up at the Tahitian Inn.
You stop it. No, you stayed at like a Marriott or something in Gaithersburg.
We stayed at, it had a kitchenette in there.
Yeah.
So Whitney made me all my meals ahead of time, so all I had to do was microwave my meals. You're so sweet.
I know, I'm
and
very
rice
good
cake
to you.
sandwiches.
Ugh.
So terrible. Rice cakes with peanut butter and jelly on them.
That was yours.
Like 2 packets.
I know.
So horrible. Anyway, so I was working on this small angle neutron scattering, and there was 3 specific instances where I got into a little bit of trouble. You had to sign in. You had your badge, and I mean this was like radiation type stuff, so you had a badge to click in and click out.
Right.
And the first night I got in trouble, I called you.
Yes.
So I worked, my time to work on the facility or in the facility was at night when nobody was there except for the security guards. Now, when you checked into a facility, you had 10 minutes to get to your location and check into your location. And when you exited the facility, you had like another 20 or 30 minutes to get from where you checked out of the front gate. And you had to check out.
You got lost. Well, I don't know why you called me. I have never been there. What was I even going to do?
This place is flippin' huge. It was in the middle of night.
Right.
And like 30 minutes had gone by and I had no flippin' clue where I was. Like patchouli, seriously, lost in the middle. I'm like, oh my god, baby!
Why were you calling me? Like, what was
I didn't know what to do. I was like, because they told you, whatever you do, don't be late, because we will send the cops after you. So I'm driving my Santa Fe. I'm clueless as to where I'm going.
I think you did get stopped by a security guard.
I got stopped by a security guard.
But then they helped you out.
They helped me out. They were so nice. They're so nice. So that was story number 1. I came back to the hotel. I was like, baby! So the second story, where I called you again, was I was changing samples, and the samples went into these titanium cores with a glass window. And you had to screw them into the machine. And then, all 7 samples with 4 screws each got pushed into the titanium hull. And then you close up the chamber, and they sent, you got the certain rays or the radiation off of the loop, and, your hit the spectra or the what's it called, the shield, and you got your measurements from that, or the screen, and you got your measurements from that. So it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's warm, and all these machines have this beautiful buzzing that just kind of lulls you to sleep.
Did you fall asleep in there?
I didn't fall. No, I didn't close my eyes. You just dozed. You know how when you do like a micro sleep?
Yes.
And I was holding the screws, and I went like this, and all the screws fell in to this machine. Like 7 of the screws were in, like 21 of them fell in.
Oh my God.
And it was like ding 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 ding, and then like the ding 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 woke me up. I was like ah, and I called him. I was like, baby. Like, what were you?
You always call me. Like, anytime there's a problem, you call me, and most of the time, I am not the person you need to be talking to. Like, there's somebody else that can help you with that. I can do nothing, but you love to call me.
Because I missed you. I didn't want to be. I mean, I wanted to be there, but I didn't want to be there. You know what I mean?
I know, but you even now you do that all these years later, and I'm just thinking, what am I?
Hey, because we're the team.
Like when you were on your way to New Zealand and we found out you needed a visa and you were taking off in 20 minutes, and he calls me, I'm like, okay, first of all, I didn't know it. Secondly,
what am I supposed to do? How do you expect me to get you a visa?
So then I start stressing out, trying to figure out how to help him.
It helps me alleviate some of my stress.
By giving it to me. Appreciate that.
So, 21 screws fell into this titanium core. And there was this liaison that I had that I was working with. And Whitney said, well, call him. And I said, oh, it's such a good idea. So I called him 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, hey, Lee. That was his name. First name was Lee. And I said, I think I really messed up bad. And he's like, oh, John, I'm sure you didn't mess up that bad. And I was like, no. And we had like a 3-minute conversation about how it wasn't going to be that bad. And he said, okay, just tell me what you did. And I told him, and he goes, oh, John, that's actually really bad. So they end up having to shut down the entire radiation system. And
fish out the screws.
I had to like crawl in there and fish out the screws.
The better question is though, why they have someone that has never worked on this equipment before?
I don't know.
But and how many hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars is that equipment worth? Like, why are they
that's what I was wondering.
Go ahead. Like, here you go. That was a wonderful experience.
Well, then that was the third time.
Oh, yes.
So anytime you went in and out of this facility, you had to actually go through a radiation check. And remember, I was working somewhere between 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when nobody else was there except for security guards. So first thing you do is you step into this chamber, and it has all these light boards. Mm-hmm. And if you have radiation on you, it lights up. And if it lights up, you have to get out of the system, restart it, go back in. If it lights up again, then you got to take a handheld Geiger counter. And if it goes from there, then you have to call in for help. So it's around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was my first time going through this system. And lights up, like right in the crotchal region. I'm like, fuck. Fuck man.
At least we had one kid.
At least we had one kid. That's what was going on in my head. So I shut off the system, I restart it, I step in there, and it's like a light board. Boom, 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 boom. And then it goes blank, and then it lights up where you've got radiation, and sure shit, the second time, crotchal region.
Oh my gosh.
So, here's the thing. The class that I had was months before,
right,
in preparation for just in case I got... So I didn't really remember the protocol.
Sure.
So I took the handheld Geiger, and it's like beep, 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 and it doesn't sound right, so I start doing it, and it's just beep, 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 beep. Like it doesn't change all over my body, and it sounds like a Geiger counter should sound like when there's massive radiation. So I get on the phone because they tell you to get on the phone and dial somebody, but the phone didn't work because I
They just
forgot
have a
the
lot
codes.
of faith in people like just doing what.
So I call Whitney. And remember, it's somewhere between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Every time I call her, she's sleeping with our 2-month-old.
Again, getting me good and stressed out every time.
Like,
you call.
baby! My crotch has radiation coming. What do I do?
I know traveling can be hard for you, but I almost feel like it's more stressful for me thinking about the things that might happen to you and you calling me and expecting me to solve these problems when I can do nothing.
So I said, what should I do? And she goes, I don't know. Isn't there something on the wall? So there was a book on the wall that had all the phone numbers and everything, everybody you had to call. So I call up the security desk and I say, hey, you guys need to come over here. My balls are glowing from all the radiation. And he goes, what? I said, the light board. I meant the light board. It's saying that my crotch has radiation. He goes, what exit are you at? I was like, I'm at exit 204. And he goes, man, that thing has been broken for a month. He's like, what does the Geiger sound like? It's going off like there's radiation everywhere? I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, that thing's broken too, man. Just get back home. So, we got the data.
Got the data for your PhD.
For my PhD. And proceeded to do absolutely nothing with it.
Oh,
I actually printed it out. Can I go get it?
Okay.
The impact of nanosilica size and surface area on the changing nanomorphology of the calcium silicate hydrate structure in cementitious composites. The role of ultra small angle and small angle neutron scattering in the characterization on the impact of nanosilica size and surface area in cement composites is reviewed. The unique information obtained from the USANS and SANS analysis of the calcium silicate hydrate gel and hydrate cement is compared with the addition of nanosilica particles that have replaced Portland cement by weight. Where 3 different sized nanosilica dispersions were dosed to have blah 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 equal dosages, the application of USANS and SANS demonstrated that larger sized nanoparticles at higher dosage effectively reduce the amount and size of pores by increasing the scattered intensity for calcium silicate hydrate globular and reduced intensity for both surface and volume fractals. The small nanosilica particles had a counterproductive effect in the higher dosage, which will be subject of future research.
So, thank you so much for joining us today. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us today. This has been my most favorite story time yet.